Today we are talking about home energy usage and how in the months of October 2022 we've reduced by about 60% our consumption compared to a year prior. So we'll go through two things that we've done. Let's go straight in. Home energy usage, looking at both electricity and gas, 60% lower, about 278 kilowatt hours in this month of October 2022. We had used about 705 kilowatt hours in October 2021. So that's quite impressive. Of course, in this context where energy is so costly, where gas is hard to come by, well, it's great to be able to save quite a bit on that energy. And of course, it's less production of carbon, right? So essentially what we've done is we've reduced a lot the usage of gas, but instead we've used a little bit more electricity. So if you look at the months of October 2021, the median usage for gas was maybe around 4 cubic meters of gas. So something like 45 kilowatt hours. If conversely you look in 2022, this is about 0.7 cubic meters and very stable day after day. So quite simply, the only reason we've used gas was to cook things with the gas cooking, but also to heat up the hot water. And why is that? Well, quite simply, instead, we've used some very simple electric radiators to heat up the rooms that needed to be heated. The temperature might have been quite a bit less cozy than it would have been the year before, maybe around 18, 19 degrees in those key bedrooms as well as the living room and dining room. But the point was to use only when we needed the electricity. So certainly less comfort, but so much less energy use. Now you can spot here that there is a second trick, which is obviously we've been away for about a week. And that means that we've done like the birds, we've migrated to a place that was a bit warmer. But we'll come back to this in a second because we're also looking at the usage of electricity to power the car, because we've driven to that place that was actually with a slightly better weather. Now, to use the electric radiators, what we've done is we use a number of Tapo TP-Link smart plugs. They have energy monitoring, which is quite convenient, but they also have, more importantly, the ability to switch them on and off remotely from the smartphone. So that's what we do in the morning. We're going to switch it on for a little while, and then when the house gets emptier for the day, well, you don't need to heat up anymore. So for a month of October, that's actually quite powerful because, of course, the outside temperatures may be like 14 degrees Celsius. So we're talking about something that's quite efficient to compensate for the small gap in temperature between inside and outside. Now, whether we're going to be able to do that again in November and December, well, let me know if that's of interest to you. Please comment. What do you do to save energy? But also let me know whether this video is of particular use to you. Now, let's carry on because beyond the home energy usage, there is the question of how much we've used for the car. Now, interestingly, like I said, we migrated for a week. So we ended up doing 1,300 miles in the month, which is more than twice as much what we did a year before. But a year before, we had a hybrid vehicle. And we've only consumed in this 2022 33%, a third more than what we did in 2021. So that's quite impressive because with a more efficient car, an electric car, you end up doing an awful lot more for your energy. So that's very, very important here. So despite the fact that, yes, we did consume more, we didn't consume disproportionately more. In fact, proportionally, we consumed less. Now, finally, if we take a look at the home and the car together, we ended up reducing the total energy by 36%, so a bit more than a third, from 955 kilowatt hours to 611 kilowatt hours. So that's quite impressive given we've gone so much farther. Now, of course, that also meant that the home didn't need quite as much energy to be heated. Final picture is the picture on the cost of energy. As we know, in 2021, energy was still reasonably cheap. I think for electricity, we were talking about 15 pence per kilowatt hours, and the gas might have been something like 3 pence per kilowatt hours, so total 75 pounds. This would have been more than double that, or just about double that in 2022 with the new prices. So if the consumption had been the same, and then we saved an extra 30 pounds really by spending about 120 pounds. So on a like-for-like basis, if you will, by switching the mix from gas to electricity, we've saved about 20%. So the way I think about it is, one, it didn't cost us more, it in fact cost us a bit less. And not only it cost us less, but we went farther in terms of distance. We used a lot of energy on the motorway, by the way, for the car. And also, we ended up heating the home with electricity, which means we used less energy for the home than we would have otherwise. So I think all together, especially if you believe that our tariff is indeed a green tariff, we are on Octopus, and that most of the electricity we're getting, if not all of it, is from renewables, I think it's quite interesting that we reduced a little bit the bill, but importantly, we reduced massively our emissions of carbon for that month of October. So are we going to be able to do the same again in November and December as it's going to get colder and colder? Well, we shall see about that. And again, let me know if that's of interest to you. And if you want to follow that, please do subscribe, do put comments, and keep following this channel. Thank you very much, and I'll talk to you soon.